Now, as the U.S.-Israel war with Iran enters day 8, let's take a look at some of the latest developments that are coming in from West Asia this hour. Mehrabad International Airport in western Tehran was hit by Israeli and U.S. airstrikes, triggering loud explosions and massive fires. Eyewitnesses reported smoke rising from the site as the U.S.-Israel conflict with Iran entered its second week. Israel's military has announced that over 80 fighter jets carried out a major wave of strikes on Iranian military sites, missile launchers, and other targets in Tehran and central Iran, marking a sharp escalation in the ongoing conflict. In one of the biggest raids announced by Israel since the regional war began on February 28th, it claimed that jets hit a military academy of Iran's Revolutionary Guards, which was being used as an emergency asset. Iran's army said its navy launched a wave of drone strikes against Israel and U.S. bases in the UAE and Kuwait, according to a statement carried by IRNA. The attacks targeted the Al Minad base in the UAE, another base in Kuwait, and a strategic facility in Israel. Iran's Revolutionary Guards have said that they are awaiting U.S. forces in the Strait of Hormuz, where shipping traffic remains disrupted amid the ongoing war. The statement by IRGC was in response to U.S.'s announcement that the Navy would soon escort vessels through the Strait. IRGC told U.S. to recall past incidents such as the 1987 attack on the supertanker Bridgeton and recent strikes on oil tankers before making any move in the Strait. Now, we were earlier joined by journalist and author Lynn O'Donnell. She spoke to us about the current situation, and now here's an excerpt from that. Let's listen in.
Well, hi, and thanks for having me. If we look at it in the historical context, both Iraq and Afghanistan wars, invasions, if you like, by the United States were preceded by huge and rapid buildup of ground forces that then invaded. We don't have that situation in Iran. It's mostly air, missiles and cyber attacks. And also Afghanistan and Iraq were two very weak governments at the time and were easily toppled. The strategy was different. In Afghanistan, it was to go in and dismantle al-Qaeda and remove the Taliban from power and then rebuild the nation. Iraq also get rid of Saddam, also a nation-building exercise. And nation-building has been specifically taken off the table, at least verbally, by the United States administration. They seem just to want to remove the leadership of the government of Iran, weaken, destabilize the military, the IRGC, and then, as they keep saying, as President Trump keeps saying, over to the people to complete regime change if that's what they want. So very different from the two earlier regional wars that we've seen this century. It's very difficult to know. There doesn't seem to be any real forward planning by the United States administration vis-a-vis what comes after the so-called decapitation or removal of the Iranian leadership. Let's get rid of the mullahs, and what comes next, nobody knows. So I think it's more rhetoric, especially what we're hearing from Donald Trump and from his Secretary of Defense /War, Pete Hegseth. There seems to be more bluster and rhetoric than forward planning at this stage. So I think it's impossible to know. He's said that Ayatollah Khamenei's son, who is being rumoured to take over once, or at least be announced as the next leader once Khamenei's funeral is done. He's called him a lightweight. Does he know? It's a very, very complex governmental system that is decentralized and has its own survival built in. So just changing the name at the top isn't going to be enough. And you know, especially when we're looking at an elongated, possibly elongated conflict here.